It's Monday, and you know what that means. It's IndyCar Night on iRacing. Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Gonzo, and welcome to Race First coverage of Round 8 of Season 2, 22 of the Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split, coming to you from the racing capital of the world, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the Indy Grand Prix. Well, for most people, when Andy Williams recorded It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year, he was singing about Christmas, right? But if you're from Indianapolis, and especially if you were born and raised here, the most wonderful time of the year starts when the calendar turns from April to May 1st. It's Indy 500 time! But before we get to all the real and virtual 500s this month, we've got to start with the Indy Grand Prix first. Starting the new tradition in 2014, IndyCar brought back a second race date to the Indianapolis area for the first time since 1970, when Indy at the time hosted actually 3 IndyCar races in the Indianapolis area. They hosted the Indy 500 in May, Indy 150 on the road course at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and July at the 100-mile dirt race at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Starting in 2022, in large part due to the COVID pandemic and the need to expand the schedule, IMS hosted an IndyCar road course doubleheader in October, which was followed up by a joint NASCAR IndyCar weekend in 2021, also sharing the road. It would seem that the IMS road course isn't going away, but it hasn't even yet to arrive in iRacing. Shame on you, iRacing. So tonight you will get to see what the IR18s would do if they were able to drive on the old F1 course. Hot off a non-stop flight from watching the taxi cabs lapped over, and joining me in the booth just in time for expert analysis is my partner, as always, from the NHR eSports team in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, is Stephen Larkamp. Stephen, you've made no secret to loving this course, but to me it's getting a little old. What keeps everyone and you coming back to this road course configuration at this facility?
Well, if you're anything like me, who has been born and bred as a road racer in terms of your racing background, you love the chance to race on a road course, especially when that road course is at Indianapolis. And I think more than anything else, that fact alone, that it is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, that's what brings so much of us back, because a win at Indianapolis, it doesn't matter who you are, it is always special. And of course, we like to think in this, as some would say, the most wonderful time of the year for us Indy fans. And we, of course, mostly think of the famous oval, the track that, of course, we all know from the Indy 500. But this layout here that was built for Formula One in the early 2000s, it hosted the United States Grand Prix from 2000 to 2007. Unfortunately, it was dropped for 2008, and the 2005 one is especially infamous for being the worst F1 race ever run ever. I will hear no arguments for that. It leads the track to not only be one that's admired by some, but has a bit of contention for others. But I think another major factor, too, is the fact that this track puts on great racing. And it's helped by the fact that one of the key parts of this configuration is turn 1 of Indianapolis's oval, which is the final corner here. It caused problems in real life that led to the issues in 2005 in F1, but of course, we don't have to worry about that too much in the virtual world. So I think it's going to be the site of some really, really good door banging and some close racing coming to the checkered flag, perhaps. At least that's what we all hope to see tonight.
Well, you know, actually due in part to the Indy cars running on the oval. That's how kind of Bridgestone had that information that Michelin didn't, that they were able to at least have a one-up on Michelin for that particular year in that one race, and unfortunately that's kind of what brought the whole Grand Prix down, at least. Now it's hosted at COTA, and now we're actually here this week, as a matter of fact, we will see another U.S. Grand Prix in Miami pop up. So maybe we see the Formula One cars come back here someday, but for the meantime, the use of this road course is going to the Indy cars. Also going to the stock cars in the later fall or in the later summer, early fall there. Also see a whole host of other road type races being held here, GT style. We've seen in the past the MotoGP come here as well. IMSA's come here in the past as well. I think it'd be cool at some point in time if Indianapolis wasn't sitting flat in the middle of a residential neighborhood to maybe have some type of 12-hour or 24-hour race here. But until they can probably get that handled with the homeowners immediately next door to the facility, I don't think we'll see that very often, or at least in that future anytime soon. But night racing in Indianapolis is one of the things that we've yet to see that it could be on the schedule at some point in the future. Never say never, but the likelihood of it happening, well, we've got a lot of pissed off neighbors first. That's what we'll have.
Well, I'd like to think that in Indianapolis, at the very least, there's more than enough people that love racing here to dissuade any Karens from wanting to take up arms over that matter. At least I hope so.
Well, we are about a minute 51 away from qualifying here, and you know, I think we might have run into the same problem that we did in because I'm not seeing the right people at the top of the screen. Who do you have as provisionally on the pole?
Right on the pole right now is the number 1 of Scott Michaels with a 1:13.0, about 10th up on Adriano Pinero in second in the number 2 machine.
Well, I'm not seeing this. Is the same thing happened again. Hang on. But yeah, we did not load into the right session. We load into the right session because we saw the right names and everything on
well, I see
on the screen, but we did not load into the right session because I do not see Pinero anywhere on the racetrack.
Oh dear. Better. I guess we got to get that sorted out. Do you think we'd be able to run the graphics while? Because we have about 45 seconds until qualifying ends.
We might not. We'll see. And type everyone. We had this during the IIS too, and I'll have to actually.
I can see you. I see you just left, Gary.
Yeah, but I went and I did not see anybody on the from the top split that was on the screen. I didn't see Matt. I didn't see Dakota. I didn't see Arrow. I didn't see Brawl. I didn't see any of the guys that we were talking about on the screen there. So we'll try to get into this real quickly here. If you need to go ahead and starting lineup, by all means, go ahead and do that. And that will buy us some time to get in this session. Yeah, we were in the right session.
Yeah,
that might mean that I might have to open a ticket with iRacing. That's the second time that's happened.
That is bizarre indeed, but qualifying has indeed come to an end as the cars line up on the grid. Let's take you through, and if I can possibly take them through the starting order to see who starts where. It's a mix of familiar names and a few road course ringers as well, testing their mettle against the established guard of the IndyCar Fixed Series. So, on the pole is, in fact, one of the newcomers we were talking about before. It's Scott Michaels driving the number 1 machine. The highest rated driver takes the pole position. Alongside him, our championship leader, Adriano Pinero, who's been very good on road courses, of course. Had a win in the bag at Watkins Glen last season, only for it to go completely awry due to a technical failure.
Oh, yeah.
And he'll be wanting to get revenge for that for sure. Bruno Miranda starts 3rd, very close behind. In fact, in the number 6 machine, he won at Indianapolis last season, albeit it was on the oval. Pedro Palladino is in the number 17 machine, starts 4th. Gonzalo Romero, the winner at Monza a couple of weeks ago, the latest road course winner on Monday night, he starts 5th, alongside Rafael Eckert in the number 15. Cesar Cabral, one of my favorite drivers to interview. He starts 7th. Hopefully he can get another podium. He starts his number 4 machine in 7th, as I said. Alongside him will be the number 3 of Kevin Birrell. John Silva will start 9th in the 19 machine. And it's done pretty good on the oval so far. Had a good run going at Motegi. Let's see what he can do here on the road course tonight. Alongside him will be Sean Dunham in the 13. James Simmons in the 21 will start 11th alongside the 16 of our good old friend Dakota DeMague. Matt Houston, the man behind Raceverse himself, he starts his number 8 machine in 13th alongside Caleb Quatisi. I hope I got that right. I apologize if I got it wrong, Caleb. In 14th. Makoto Yamasaki, who we saw at Watkins Glen, actually, did a very good job there. He starts off 15th, alongside Emilio Fernandez Garrido in the 16th position in the number 12. Alexandre Gon starts his number 11th and 17, alongside the 14 of Lucas Hamilton. I wonder if there's any relation there. It'd be cool if it was. Philip McCandless starts 19th in the number 18 machine. in alongside Kyle Reynolds in the number 20, rounding out the top 20, and the last driver to post a qualifying time. Rounding out your field will be the 5 of Nate Lewis, Sam Johnson in the number 22, and Shane Martin in the 23 run shotgun on the field tonight as we roll off, get ready for 30 laps at the Brickyard.
Thankfully, it's the long formation lap here, so we are back with live video directly from the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the old Grand Prix course, but we're back live again, and we are watching them. They're going through portion just inside of an oval turn 4, as then they turn here, make a right-hander onto what they call Holman Boulevard. This is actually used to just be a simple utility road that ran down the middle of the racetrack that would connect north entrance, pretty much the south entrance, and the museum and everything that's down there on the south side, which is near the main entrance off of 6 Holman Boulevard right here. If you ever go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, that portion of the racetrack is kind of open like almost every day for cars that are driving to go to a parking spot. So if you ever wanted to race on these portions, or not race on, but just drive your car on these portions of the road course, it's quite common to do that there, just by being a visitor at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now they are getting ready to come back onto the oval in turn, which is now oval turn 2 there, right there in front of the Riley Suites. They're coming back on the racetrack. Now, right here, this is where one of the new portions is going to deviate. There's going to be a chicane that's going to be here in the middle of the short chute here, where they kind of turn in, and then they come back out onto the main straight, and then they head down to oval turn 4. But it will be for their turn 1, and we're getting ready to start here, so we'll let you call it out here, Steven. You got video going. All we need is just someone to call it out. Go, go, go.
The most wonderful time of the year for Indy fans begins at Indianapolis. It's Scott Michaels away quite handily as they head down to turn 1. Pinero looking to take advantage of the slipstream there. He has a peek to the inside in the corner. Let's see, he does not quite get there, but here comes Miranda around the outside. Beautiful move by Bruno Miranda. He clears him. Miranda starting on the soft compound red tire. He's going to have a lot of chances to make up positions. Oh, Romero's in trouble. Romero, and was that Palladino? Pedro Palladino is off the track, trying to recover there. They are not happy with each other. I'm hearing over the radio, but he recovers, trying to keep it going. But heartbreak so far for Pedro Palladino as everyone starts to get themselves situated.
Yeah, we got Dakota DeMay in that one as well. Lucas Hamilton looks like he is towed back. Number of cars look like did not make it through the early infield portion in there. But we are back underway with Scott Michaels now making it down the backstretch. Now he's into the portion of the course that is inside of turn 2. There's a backstretch in the turn 3. Those stands would not be full for the road course down there in the turn 3 area. But nice try, iRacing. Nice try.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how good of a view they would get, but Scott Michaels right now has the best view in the house as he completes lap number 1. Michaels starting this race on the hard compound black tire, so he seems to be going long on this first stint. Bruno Miranda, on the other hand, on the reds, he is going to be working these tires hard to get as much of advantage as he can these opening laps, maybe take over the lead, and then come in early for a long run at the end. We're expecting about 22 to 23 laps will be the amount that can go on fuel. So about lap 8 is when we can expect the window to open, and Miranda will probably be diving on the pit road in the early part of that cycle.
Now, unlike ovals, kind of when you start ticking down your pit stop, you actually kind of run the race in reverse. Is that kind of how they do it here in IndyCar with when you think of making that first window, that first stop?
In some ways you can. It depends on your thought process more than anything. I tend to think forward a little bit, how many laps I can run on the red tire and build it up from there, like if I'm starting on reds. On blacks, I just think that I get to this lap and then I run the reds from here on out in this instance, especially since we only have one pit stop to think about. It's not really too much of a concern as opposed to something like the Indianapolis 500 itself, where you have 6 pit stops at the very least to make it to the checkered flag. Bruno Miranda right up on the
here's a
gearbox
pass,
now
Eckert
of
to the
Michael.
inside of Pinero. Pinero has a preferred position in this next turn, but Eckert's got him cleared, and he is now has the position up to P3 over the points leader in the Division I championship.
And Eckert, of course, one of those front runners in that championship battle as well. Eckert starting on the reds as well. Pinero on blacks. So you can expect Eckert to do the same thing that Bruno Miranda is going to be doing. He's going to be running hard in this opening stint, trying to get as much pace out of the cars as you can, and then come in for the long haul and run on tires that can last a lot longer. And what's crazy right now, we're only working lap number 3 here. We have a lap car in front of the leaders. Already 2 cars involved in an incident. Lucas Hamilton and Kyle Reynolds are already on pit road and out of the going, and that is Dakota DeMay, in fact, that the leaders Michaels and Miranda are closing in on.
Yeah, Dakota might have he's I thought he maybe would have had a looks like he's slowing down a little on by. There he goes. Last time I saw that he had a missing wing piece of the nose. Like he did stop and get that taken care of. Still gonna have to stop again, but unfortunately he is already a lap down. He's gone to the harder tires, so he's obviously in this one for the long haul. So Michaels and Miranda, the battle tightens up here a little bit more as they are racing on the infield portion around turn 4, getting ready to hop back out here on Holman Boulevard and head down the backstretch where they can use one thing that we talked about only in one at a time this year: push the pass.
That is true. You have 10 charges of push to pass. So you of course have to be strategic with it. You can't just mash the button completely throughout the entire race and expect to overtake people. Of course, if you do that, the other driver would just counter it
Right.
every single time as well. So Miranda, of course, wants to get the most out of these red tires as he can. I'd expect him to get on the button fairly soon. If he has a run on Michaels, he will expect to use that. In fact, both Michaels and Miranda are on the push to pass right now. Miranda has already burned through 5 of them at this point.
Yeah,
it looks like he's been using quite a few of them, unless I'm reading that wrong on his display.
Both Michaels down to 5, Bruno down to 5. Eckert still
Wow.
has 8, Pinero has 9. Cabral, the best interview in all of iRacing. There he is right there under direct attack by Kevin Burrell. We saw Kevin on the IIS race on Friday in the top split there. But also we saw Cesar Cabral in that race. These two got in a great battle right now for P5 and P6 at the moment. Is now they are up against the lap traffic trying to work their way around.
The car slow in the infield. Almost coming onto Holman Boulevard. That was a car with no right front suspension on. I'm trying to pick out who that was, but it looks as though they have cleared them at the moment.
I'm trying to go through and see who that might be. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, not quite sure who that is. It is the Haas car. Kind of going through the field. Not quite sure who it is right now, but we'll get back up to the front where the battle is. Hey, a couple things that we had to abbreviate because we were having issues here at the start. Of course, there is no IndyCar track record here. Not on this course anyways. The course track record is held by Ruben Barrichello with a qualifying time of 1:10.223. That was set in way back in 2004. My daughter was 1 year old at that time. So that's how long ago that was. Just to give you an idea of what they are doing now. Here's everyone's best lap on the screen. The best lap right now, 1:13.1 looks like by Pinero. 1:13.1 by Miranda. And Miranda has a heck of a fan group in chat right now. So everyone's shouting out, "Go Bruno" to the Yukos eSport driver here, as he is currently P2 on the Indy road course, where the World Team will be here in just a matter of a few days.
Indeed, it's very exciting times for everyone at Yukos Racing. Scott Michaels, meanwhile, I'm sure he's liking what he's seeing right now, and that's Miranda starting to dip out of his vision a little bit. Michaels on that last lap was a 1:14.4. Miranda was a 1:15.3. I think Miranda's tires are at the point where he's starting to lose a bit of grip, and he is going to want to come onto pit road as soon as that window opens, which will thankfully for him be in a lap or two.
Yeah, next lap. The career wins leader here on the road course is Michael Schumacher with a incredible 5. He's the only driver, I think might be a NASCAR driver with 5. I can't remember. I think it is Jeff Gordon, but that's how much I really care about NASCAR. But in terms of with an incredible 5 victories here, but one of those victories was kind of that watered down race where we had the Michelin and Bridgestone tire war that actually erupted in the middle of the race. But he did win 4 in a row from 2003 to 2016, and until the record books take away that 2005 win, he will continue to be probably that 4 in a row for any driver here is probably going to stand for a very, 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 very long time. Hey, also, we are on our drive to 1,000 subscribers, so if you enjoy RaceFirst coverage of the Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split and you respect the weekly stream, make sure you support us by smashing the like button below and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next race. We have just a little bit more than 200 subscribers to go to get to the magical 1,000 subscriber mark. So help us by hitting those buttons. We can't get there without you. Now let's get back into the rest of this race here at Indy, where the top spot really hasn't changed very much since I started talking.
And Michaels has actually stretched his gap a little bit further. He was about 0.6 up on the last lap on Bruno Miranda. The gap now about 2.5 seconds. And one driver I'm keeping an eye on as well is Nate Lewis in the number 5 machine, a driver I'm actually familiar with in some ways. It's quite a long story in many regards, but what I know for sure, Nate Lewis is a very talented driver. I've mostly seen him in sports car racing, though he has given IndyCar a shot a few times. And he is doing very well, up 10 positions so far. He didn't post a qualifying time, already knocking on the door of a top 10 as he's closing up on Pedro Palladino in that 10th spot.
Is on our screen, he's in one of those Formula One liveries that they slap on an IndyCar.
Looks like the Alpine livery, which you can easily confuse with the old Racing Point liveries because, of course, the pink aesthetic was something that they really, really seemed to like both times.
Of course, a pink car did win the Indy 500 last season. Now, of course, it was the 4th win by Castro Neves. He was driving a pink car.
And meanwhile, his countryman Bruno Miranda brings that number 6 onto pit road. Came in at the first opportunity. He's going to be switching over to the black compound, into the black hard compound tire. Down and away he goes. And actually, as I see him come off of pit road, it looks like he's still on reds. Unless that is a visual glitch, which I know can be a thing.
That is a visual glitch because timing and scoring show him with the prime tire. So that is a known issue with iRacing that we've seen from time to time, where when a car starts on a certain color of sidewall tires and they move to another certain color or a off color, I guess, that sometimes visually is not changed. And I thought that would have been probably reported to iRacing in terms of as a bug thing, but it is not reflected on your screen, but it is reflected in timing and scoring, and we are monitoring that right here. But according to our timing and scoring, he is on the prime tire, even though you see the red sidewall right there.
Very interesting. Hopefully that's an issue they can resolve relatively quickly, especially with the iRacing IndyCar Series competing at the Indianapolis road course fairly soon. Of course, all the hype is around the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500, both its real-world version we all love to watch, and also the virtual version that we all hope to score wins in. I, of course, was lucky to score a win in the 500 and third split in 2019.
Nice.
Hopefully everyone has a great month of May, and so far it's been a great month of May for Scott Michaels, working very consistent lap times in the mid-14s, and he's about 0.3 faster right now on that last lap than Adriano Pinero. So Michaels looking very much in the catbird seat tonight.
Yeah, and he is on the 6 right now the number 8 of the boss man, Matt Houston. Matt made a pit stop. This is only second lap of his stint, so why he's kind of fallen back into the order a little bit. It looks like he pitted to get off those early tires as quickly as possible. The fixed series does not have the requirement to change the compound as open and as the IIS series does. So that is a thing that we kind of missed when we talked about the Monza race. We said that they did have that requirement. That is not the case. Fixed series, the requirement is not there. Only in open and only in the IIS do they have to change comp.
That's interesting, because I thought I read somewhere that that was indeed changed, but well, the more you know, it seems.
I don't have that graphic to go across the screen right now.
Yeah. But in any case, Scott Michaels right now seems to be enjoying the hard compound tire right now, and with a track temp at 114 degrees Fahrenheit, I'd say he's inclined to do so as he starts to work his way around Matt Houston, letting him go to the inside there. But Pinero, the gap between the two, as Pinero comes off of turn number 1 of the oval, turn 13 of the road course, it is 7.9 seconds, your gap between first and second right now. And one guy, of course, we got to keep an eye on at this point are the guys who, guys like Rafael Eckert, who is in on pit road right now, guys like him, and of course, Bruno Miranda, who is working on the black tire right now. We'll keep an eye on him, see what kind of lap times he can put in and close back up on that lead pack, because he was in a dogfight with Scott Michaels for the lead. Let's see if he can say that.
Ooh.
Overshot his stall there, did Rafael
Not by
Eckert.
much. Oh, and then someone just, one of the, I just saw a car just kind of blink in and out of behind him, so I'm not sure what happened there, but someone might have had to immediately tow to the pits. But he is down and away, costing a little time on pit road. 41.5 on pit road, 6.6 in the box, but involved having to back up just a tick, so hopefully not too much. Right now, currently showing him on, even though visually on the screen with the red sidewall tires, showing him on timing and scoring with the black sidewall.
Very bizarre, because I have been rather fortunate not to have that glitch pop up as much as others have complained about, so it's rather quite interesting that we're seeing that tonight. But it doesn't have effect on the performance of the car itself. Of course, you're not you didn't select the wrong tire. It just doesn't look like it from our perspective. But I'm looking at Bruno Miranda right now as he's closing up on the gearbox of Emilio Garrido, coming off of turn 13 down the front straightaway. Ooh. He's on the button right now. Only 3 push-to-passes to go for Bruno Miranda. Let's see if he can make it 2 for 1. Does he stick his nose to the inside? Yes, he does. Let's see. Ooh, pushes Sam Johnson a little bit wide there. And Johnson almost making contact with Garrido.
Garrido in that E. Menards. That's the livery that we saw Nelson Piquet when he made his attempt here at the Indy 500 driving. Of course, he smashed up his feet, something fierce in a wreck in turn 4. And I don't think he ever made an IndyCar, at least a 500 race after that. But he was one of the many that that particular season, 92 season, going into 92 race and the cold temperature race and all that, that suffered as a result of kind of the high speeds and the really sharp angles that some of those cars really impacted the walls. That really necessitated the speedway making changes to the oval, which include those pit road entry roads that you see right now that go on the inside of all the corners.
Indeed, very much so. Indianapolis has changed in many ways over its over 100 years of operation. The track that was built in 1907 to 1909 looks very, very different from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway of 2022. And in some ways, you could say it's become a more diverse facility. It's more open to a lot of different kinds of racing, not just the kind that's made it famous.
Yep. it's probably a lot more of a diverse facility. I mean, even going so far. I mean, remember its very first race was a hot air balloon race or blimp race. It now hosts not only just the cars, but the stock cars, and also all sorts of GT cars. It's hosted Formula One before. It's hosted the Red Bull Air races before here, where they actually use the backstretch here, Holman Boulevard, as a landing strip, where they would land the planes there. A whole number of things have been used here, not just anything auto-related or anything with the motor, but in the past, the 87 Pan American Games opening ceremonies were held here. A lot of charity events are held here. The local Humane Society here in Indianapolis, they do what they call the mutt strut here, where you can bring your dog to the track and walk around the track with your dog, and I've done that a couple of times. And we've seen cars make big messes in turns 3 and 4 before. Well, I've seen dogs make some big messes in turns 3 and 4 before, and I'd rather clean up those ones by the car. That's for sure.
Indeed, it's a lot more pleasant to deal with, even if you're, right. Even if for the driver involved in said car, it is decidedly unpleasant in a very frustrating way, and I've had my fair share of those at times, but hasn't every sim racer for that matter.
And good news, the best interview in all of sim racing is currently in P3.
Cesar Cabral started 7th, currently running 3rd. He started on the hards, so let's see if he can keep up the momentum he's had. He's running laps in the 115s, run 115.1 the last couple of laps, and pulling out a gap over Kevin Burrell, but Cabral is about 22 seconds in arrears of race leader Scott Michaels, who has a 8.5 second lead, I should say, over Adriano Pinero, currently running P2. But the guy I am keeping...
We got contact coming into turn 1, turn 2, between Palladino and Nate Lewis, I believe. And I think Nate Lewis is beached. He is towing, and Palladino is slowly getting back up to speed. You might want to rewind and take a look at that, but it was just like two drivers just kind of side by side trying to fight for the same piece of real estate. And there goes I'm not sure who that was.
Trying to see. Nate Lewis is indeed.
Okay. Yeah, Shane Martin was right behind them there. He was a lap down, and he did an off, and he did an immediate tow. So we had another tow out of that. But yeah, maybe you can go back and take a look at that. It's just kind of two guys going for the same spot on the racetrack.
Indeed, it was. Lewis with a bit of a weave on the front straightaway, and Palladino sends it a little bit deep, I think. Having a look at it, and actually it was very close stuff there. It looks more like a racing deal. But then Lewis, I don't know if he didn't realize that Palladino was still there. He didn't slow up in time, but the grass is lava, and then slams into the side of Palladino, making everything just that little bit worse. And Lewis got stuck on the gravel. He actually got beached there and had to tow it.
Yeah, he had no choice but to tow it. Right now showing Palladino on pit road. Probably maybe to answer the meatball. We'll see. I don't see any damage on his car, but he might be stopping. He is actually... I think this would be his first official stop, so it might be planned, but just a little bit earlier than he wanted to. He's down and away. I don't think he changed tires, so he might have just got some damage taken care of, and he might be on a slightly different schedule. But back up to the front, here is Scott Michaels, and he is just continuing to pull away from everybody. And right now, he is currently looking at the back bumper of Andre Rigon at P12. Number of times we've seen Andre Rigon fighting for positions in the top 5, and now he's getting lapped already at this point into the Indy GP here for the Indy fixed Monday night top split. But depending on when, looks like Rigon has stopped just recently, so depending on when Michael stops, Rigon might get that lap back.
I would certainly think so. As of right now, Michaels has lapped the whole field up to 11th position. 11th, Philip McCandless is the last car on the lead lap as Michaels starts to close in on them. But of course, got to remember that Michael still has that pit stop. We're about to be working lap number 19. And as we said, about 22 to 23 laps is what we expect from a full fuel run here. So Michaels, in about the next 5 laps, he'll be coming on for his mandatory pit stop. And we'll see how his long distance battle between himself and Bruno Miranda and the number 6 who came in on the earlier cycle, we'll see how that battle shakes out.
Well, we got a battle right in front of the leader, and that's between Gonzalo Romero in the Nikkei Racing team and Philip Cecil McCandless. That was actually the last position on the lead lap at the moment, and Romero saw the leader coming. He's like, man, I gotta go, and he has gone ahead, and they worked their way around McCandless. McCandless is now a lap down. Romero now P10. He is 4 laps into his current stint, so he has already stopped, but he is grasping at straws to stay on the lead lap at the moment. Eckert also right in front of him at P9. He's on the start-finish line hitting the yard of bricks right now. He has 7 laps into his current stint, and when everyone pits, he might actually, depending on where he pops in with everyone else. Of course, he was on pit road just a little bit longer. It might be a battle between him and Bruno Miranda again forming, but we'll see. Right now, Michaels, Pinero, Cabral, Burrell, Silva, Dunham, and Gerardo are all the cars that have been on at the track at the longest. They are now 20 or 19 laps respectively into their current stint.
Indeed, the tires are probably going to be starting to feel a bit worse for wear, though Scott Michaels' lap times don't entirely seem to suggest it. Of course, the black hard compound tire does hold up very, very well if you're able to manage them. And that seems to be what Michaels has been able to do. He's been running consistently mid-14s. And because of all of that, is really good tire management, it looked like. He has been pulling away handily over Adriano Pinero. The gap now 12 seconds. It's been a beautiful run so far for Scott Michaels so far.
Got that Gomez Sim Industries sponsorship on the side of his car there. Makes some really nice wheels. They are one of the sponsors of the Lionheart IndyCar Series as well. I want to thank them.
Definitely want to thank them as well. And I'm sure Scott Michaels, if he has one of their products, which I would hope that he's repping their gear. He seems to be enjoying that. He seems to be enjoying it so far. As we complete lap number 20, and Pinero comes up to the line. The gap is now 12. It's actually held steady so far. Yep. Around 12 seconds. So Pinero had a pretty rough lap the previous lap there because he had some lap down cars to deal with there and got in the way at one of the worst possible spots, and that is through the S's getting ready to come onto the front straightaway. Yep. You need all the momentum you can to get the run there. You do not want to get held up in that section more than anything else.
Yeah, that is the slowest portion of the race course. We're watching Michaels right now as he's going through right here. This left-hander, that's probably the slowest left-hander, or actually turn period, on the race course. At the right-hander there that he took, you can take a little bit of liberty off there. Then you're pretty much on the power all the way around, unless he hits pit road this time. Nope, all the way around to turn 1. Now that's the old course. The current course, there's a chicane in there, so you're not on the power as long. But I do believe that you could start your push to pass at the start of your acceleration zone coming out of the final corner, and you will run out of your 10-second, or your, actually it's 20-second push to pass stint by the time you get to the turn there in turn 1. That's how long that straightaway is.
I can attest to that. You can indeed run out of push to pass if you get on the button as soon as you spool up coming off that final corner before going onto the short chute of the oval and then into turn 1 of the oval. You will run out of push to pass, just fairly close to the corner, but you will still run out. But you are still running at a pretty considerable clip going in there, so. Yeah. Getting that acceleration is what you definitely want.
Right now, the closest battle on the racetrack, we're looking at it. It's Silva and Burrell. This is the battle for 4th. Silva's about 2.58 seconds back, now 3 seconds. He was about 2.5 going into turn 1, and he overcooked it a little bit in turn 1, and that cost him some time, and it cost him about 0.2 to 0.3 of a second. And he is now trying to make that time back up, but that is your closest battle on the racetrack. We're looking at a pretty spread out field at the moment. Here's another close battle, the battle between Ragon and Handless. This is right at about a second.
And Michaels is on pit road. Leader has come in. And Pinero has actually stayed out for another lap.
That is very Pinero-like. As we've seen from anything that Pinero does, he does not like to pit any earlier than he has to. And that's certainly the case on the ovals. McCandless is down, or this is Michael's down and away. And he's going to rejoin after pitting in P2. Got a number of other cars on pit road. I think we got Cesar Cabral on pit road. We got Burrell on pit road. We got John Silva on pit road. There is Gerardo just coming around the corner. He's on pit road. So everybody that was looking to go long is now pitting, with the exception of Pinero. And we will find Pinero in just a moment here. There is that slowest portion of the racetrack. He has right in front of him, that is McCandless, who will work around, and then his teammate on the Bread King team there. That is his teammate, Andre Ragon. Let's see if he's staying low. Looks like he's going to make that turn onto the pit road there, access road, and he needs to hit the cones there, and he does. And he is now under the pit speed limit, all the way down to his stall. This is a long, long run.
Indeed it is. Indianapolis is a very long pit lane, 55-mile-an-hour speed limit here. It feels like you're in the middle of the traffic jam coming home from Dover Speedway like I was the other day. So Pinero brings it down there as Michaels goes blazing by down the front stretch.
Easy. Back in the lead.
So Pinero down and away. I'm keeping an eye on Bruno Miranda as he comes down the front straightaway. Does he clear him? Yes, he does.
This is going to be close,
barely there.
Because Miranda is now 15 laps on these very used black tires that he's on. He's on the prime tire, even though he's showing red on the racetrack. Pinero is coming out back on the racetrack on the alternate tires, and it's going to be light tanks because he only has 7 laps to go.
It's certainly go time right now, especially for Pinero to get back around him and get up to P2 once more. Pinero, of course, on the reds. He is going to have all of the grip in the world right now compared to Bruno Miranda. He's going to make the most of it right now. Of course, we know Pinero is more than capable of doing such, as he gets a little bit in the grass there, I think, coming over that left-hander.
Oh,
Pinero!
That is cold tires under power right there.
So easy to do that in that final corner there, but that will kill his momentum down the straightaway. He, of course, has a few more laps of optimal tire performance left. Will this be a godsend for Miranda? We head into turn 1, working lap 25 here, 6 laps to go. Miranda about 15 seconds in arrears of race leader Scott Michaels, who has put down, and he's put down a 1:12.7. What a belter of a lap, even faster than the pole time.
There you go. We'll take a look at the purple time. 1:12.753 is your purple lap, and we're going to have a battle for position here on the backstretch. As Pinero moving to the outside on push to pass. You see it there on his pie readout, the green border turning in.
Ooh, around the outside. He does clear him. Move Pinero up one more spot. There's Bruno Miranda. A bit disappointed with that, I would wager, even though I'm sure he knew that Pinero was going to have the faster car underneath him at that point. So move Pinero up one more. Miranda still got a step on the podium, though, in position number 3. And they are about 15 seconds ahead of Rafael Eckert in P4. And he's right now in a battle with Cesar Cabral for 4th place.
Yeah, we'll get the... a little sparks there as Pinero got close to the wall. A little neck coating happening there. But Pinero trying to break the draft down the long straightaway going into turn 1. Let's get back to this battle with Eckert and Cabral, though. This is shaping up to be a tight one here between
Eckert trying to hold on to that 4th place. Cabral on the fresh reds. A 13.5 was his lap time the last time by to Eckert's 15.4. Cabral
he cooks it. He cooks it. He cooks it.
Ooh,
and he lost it, and Cabral's by.
Good save by Eckert, though. I think a little bit of 2-foot magic save there for him. But he keeps the car underneath him and holds on to that 5th place. Sadly, he lost that spot to Cabral as he takes off. And now he's going to have Kevin Burrell to contend with behind him there. Eckert, of course, going to be slow on momentum there. Burrell with a 14.1 on that last lap. Burrell looking to close in and maybe score a top 5.
Well, on the racetrack. Got a pretty good showing on Friday's race there that we had in the IIS at Barber. That's every IndyCar race weekend. So when you see the IndyCar drivers race for real on Sunday, the Friday before, make sure you join us at 2 o'clock Eastern time. We will have the top split of the IIS. That's the IndyCar iRacing Series right here on iRacing. We will have the top split of that series. And, of course, the next race for them will be the Indy Grand Prix that we're watching right here. But that's in about 2 weeks. Last we saw them on Friday at Barber, just like you saw the real guys at Barber on Friday. Make sure to check that out. You can find that here on RaceFirst at youtube.com/RaceFirst. We are 4 laps to go. And Scott Michaels, man, talk about making smooth sailing of this thing. He is just kind of cruising at the moment.
He has been stellar tonight so far. Car number 1 puts it on the pole and has the utter dominant car of the night so far. Even now, he's still running the 13s on slightly worn reds, even though right now he has a couple of lap cars to deal with. That is Sam Johnson and Matt Houston in front of him. But Michaels he's got all the time in the world to work with here. He can just take it easy. Ooh,
Matt,
Houston.
Careful, Matt, careful.
Saved it, though. Good job, Matt. Unfortunately, in that tussle with Johnson right now, that's given Johnson the leg up right now. But now he's got Scott Michaels to worry about right now. And I'm sure Michaels just wants nothing to do with this right now.
Gonzalo Romero possibly is dropped out. I don't know if that was a packet loss drop or that he has decided to tow and disconnect. But showing the car currently showing in 14th spot is out of the race at the moment as Michaels makes his way around Johnson, and that is putting driver down in 12, a lap down.
I can confirm, by the way, for
Johnson wants to race for this position back. He's like, yeah. Oh, and look at Matt.
Wow. No, Matt Houston. Matt Houston went off in turn 1. That was. Oh, I'm sure Michaels is having a scare right now.
I think Michaels, you know what? If I was
Michaels actually just on the radio, he is not happy with Sam Johnson right now. Well, he does clear him.
Well, Johnson has every right to want to fight for this battle to get back on the lead lap. I mean, he's not in a position to win, but he has every right to fight for that battle to get back on the lead lap. You know, at some point, though, the smarter driver, I guess, in this would be the leader, since he has 12 seconds over P2. Let the guy go, man. Just let the guy go.
Indeed. You really aren't going to gain much as Michaels comes off the final corner, getting ready to start the last lap tonight. And I can confirm for Gonzalo Romero, it was a connection failure. Sadly,
hate that.
Romero,
hate that.
The winner at Monza's out.
Hate that.
Absolute gut punch there for Gonzalo Romero, but white flag in the air for Scott Michaels. That last lap certainly slowed him up a bit compared to Adriano Pinero behind him, who's been putting in fast laps in the 13s as well. The gap down to 11 seconds, but in the grand scheme of things, that's really of no consequence to Scott Michaels. He has put on an absolute clinic tonight. Beautifully done so far, and just about half a lap more, and he'll have himself a victory at Indianapolis to reward such an amazing drive.
I want this guy to compete in the Best of the Fix series.
I certainly would like to see it. Would certainly give someone like Pinero a run for his money, and this has certainly been It's certainly been a night where Pinero has been second best, it would seem. And we don't say that too often here in the Indy Fix series, but off the final corner that you really have to drive here on the Indy road course and coming up onto the oval for the last time tonight. And it is Scott Michaels, pole to flag win in effect across the line, and he will win the Indy GP for the IndyCar Fix Series in an absolutely dominant performance.
To say the least. Here comes Pinero. It's going to be a great finish for him. We will talk points just after this race completes here. Here comes Bruno Miranda. And Miranda finishes third. I like Callum Eilert, but I don't think Eilert's going to finish third in the the Indy GP Cup. Maybe he will. I don't know. But Bruno Miranda, I think, probably just had the best performance for that Yukos team, real or otherwise, tonight here. Cesar Cabral, we're watching him. I think he just made his turn on to pit road. Eckert is there. Silva. I'm trying to find folks. There we go. Here comes Silva. Cabral just completed his lap. Burrell just did as well. Eckert as well. Silva, here comes Silva crossing the start-finish line. He is done. Palladino making his finish right here. The teammates Silva and Palladino are done. Gadaro is done. And Sean Dunham is done. And that pretty much is everybody left running. I think Yamasaki might be out there trying to finish his lap. We will give him the courtesy if he wants. No, he's going to go ahead and park it. He is done, probably waiting on the next race. But Don Michaels is your winner from Club New England. Got to find out where in New England he is. Family there. But let's go ahead and clear off the screen here and see tonight's final stand. We'll into the interview room, see if there might be someone that'd like to talk with us. But here are tonight's final results. Scott Michaels pretty much flagged the flag. And if he had a bigger lead, he probably would have led every single lap. But I think there was a small carryover between his stint and Pinero's. Pinero finishes second. That's a great day for him, regardless, for the Division I championship, which is the bigger picture at this point in time. Bruno Miranda, great finish for him in P3. Cesar Cabral, so close. If he's in the interview room, we're going to bring him in anyways. But P4 for Cesar Cabral, great finish for him again on the road course. Kevin Burrell, P5, making up your top 5 there. Rafael Eckerts, John Silva, Pedro Palladino, Emilio Gerardo, and Sean Dunham are your top 10. Regan Johnson, Houston, McCandless, and DeMade are your top 50. Yamasaki, Romero, Reynolds, Lewis, and Martin, top 20. And rounding out your 23-car field is Quadatisi. I'm hoping I'm saying that right, but I do know I can say Caleb. That is, I know that one.
Yeah.
Simmons and Hamilton rounding out the 23-car field. Do we have anybody in the interview room?
Seems fairly quiet tonight.
Fairly quiet. Well, let's do this then. Have a little time, and we got to give analysis on this race, as well as we need to talk about what we got coming up next. So let's go ahead and let's just start prepping for that. And if someone pops in, we'll be ready for them. But let's go ahead and bring our winner's car on screen here. So, and we'll get him with dots. But we'll go ahead and give our winner a little extra time, even though he's going to be able to make the interview tonight. That's fine. That happens. There you go. That is our winner for tonight. So I kind of turn it over to you. I'm big on the history of the place. Of course, I live here. I love everything there is about Indianapolis, but I am no road race guy. That is one of your many strengths that you have. talk about the road race here tonight on this course with these drivers, with these cars, as we wrap up tonight, and then let's start looking ahead to the super speedway at Legacy Michigan International coming up next.
Well, when it comes to racing at Indianapolis, of course, these cars are made for it, literally. It's in the name. But in my humble opinion, the road course as well as the oval, it's as well made for these Indy cars as the oval is for them. These cars really put on and really do challenge the driver. It's fun to drive as well. It's one of those difficult cars to master, I would say, and this track really does show it. And it's a bad fast track as well, but it's also a very technical one. And we saw that the one who can master both of those elements of the course, as well as the car itself, and they will be the dominant factor today. You would expect the likes of Adriano Pinero to be the driver that would be the master of that as well. But the newcomer, Scott Michaels, who I've actually found lives in Connecticut, just to clarify that, but is from England, in fact. In fact, when I was hearing him on the radio, he did carry quite a bit of an English accent on him, and he raced go-karts back in Britain. So that road racing prowess easily for him carried over here. And and with a performance like that, I would be happy to see Scott Michaels compete further in other IndyCar competition and certainly give these guys a run for their money. If we see him in something like the IndyCar iRacing Series, that would be a cool thing to see. It could be another up and coming Indy star, I think.
Yeah, the iRacing IndyCar Series has a strength of field race on Fridays at it's 2:15 p.m. Eastern time. Is a very European friendly time. If you're a European driver and you want to check that out, the IIS is an open series. The only difference between this series, the Indy Fixed here and the IIS, it's an open, so you got to kind of be a little bit more of a setup ace. But if you kind of liked what you saw here being a European driver and you want to do more of this type of thing, IIS will be probably the next series you want to look at, as well as Indy Open, which also runs their strength of field Monday night, but they're off by 15 minutes. So just keep in mind that the Indy Fixed, Indy Open are races about every 2 hours throughout the week. But if you are a European fan, check out that IIS race on 15 time on iRacing and covering that. That'll be awesome to see another hot ace there. Give Adam Crane and a lot of those guys that we watched on Friday a run. So, with that said, we're moving on to Michigan. Well, Michigan's no stranger to these cars, or vice versa. So, it's Legacy Michigan, so it's the bumpier Michigan. Your thoughts on Legacy Michigan before we pack this away and head on out for the night?
Speed, 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 and more speed is what I can say about Michigan. Of course, we've seen a few races there ourselves on the broadcast, and of course, we've raced there quite a few times. And that track, that track really is, it's something else in its own right. It's, of course, insanely fast. The pack racing there can be intense, even on the bumpy version of Michigan. We're not disinclined to see massive pack racing and seeing very close quarter stuff at well over 220 miles an hour in these Dallara IR18 Indy cars. Of course, it was 240, 250 range back in the kart days.
Oh yeah.
So the speed there is going to be intense. Of course, Indianapolis is technically faster. Of course, they have higher turbo boost pressures that they run on the Indianapolis oval, but it doesn't feel faster in some ways than Michigan is, and that's largely because not only is Michigan fast, the racing is insanely close. We've seen it before. I have no doubt we'll see it again.
Oh, well, there you go. So that is it for tonight. Once again, your podium, and then we will give everyone else your Monday nights back here. Once again, your podium from the Indy Grand Prix is Scott Michaels, Adriano Pinero, and Bruno Miranda. We'll talk more about points next week when we have a little bit more time. But join Steven, myself, and Ryan Eric King as we will bring you race first coverage of round 9 of the Monday Night IndyFix Top Split of Season 222, coming to you from the Legacy Michigan International Race Red. Coverage begins at 8:15 Eastern Time. That's 8:15 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at youtube.com/racefirst. Hey, we love bringing these races to you. They're not easy. They require time and money to produce. Because of your generosity and donation, we've been able to bring you commercial-free coverage of the last 2 fixed Indy seasons. So if you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and have enjoyed our coverage of the Monday Night IndyFix Top Split, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description. And donate to our Season 222 Monday Night IndyFix Top Split broadcast fund. Believe me, we do realize times are tough, and any contribution will be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us a part of your Monday night each and every week. As you know, the as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy. So please help support Race First with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing the like in the video. And just like this, right here, boom. Like in the video. If you're new, also click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss more Race versus iRacing programming. Just like this. Yeah, we do everything for you. Just all you have to do is copy it. This is great. So we got racing upcoming programming, including our coverage of the, of course, we talked about it tonight, the IndyCar iRacing Series Friday Top Split, and the summer returns of the Schaefer IndyCar Series and the Race First Formula Indy Series later this summer. And don't forget, Friday, May 13th, join us as we bring you coverage of Day 1 of the IndyFix 500 Bottom Split. Keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge of all of iRacing. Race First, we know what Indy means. For business inquiries and to learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com or follow us on Twitter. You can follow all of us by our Twitter handles right here on the bottom of the screen. We'll put those there for you as well. So for Stephen Larkamp, everyone at Race First, I'm Gary Gotzo saying all good night. Thanks for watching, and to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Thanks again, everyone. Catch us next week at Legacy, Michigan for the next race of Monday Night IndyFix Top Split. Good night.